This part starts, and we see that Ning Tian has thrown Chang on the ground. And he is speaking to his disciples. I purposely left his legs so he could kneel and pay respects to the deceased. You handled the rest. And everyone is surprised to see Chang, and one of the disciples says, Chang de, Taozi, fellow disciples who died unjustly, and another disciple says, I will avenge you 100-fold, 1,000-fold. Then another disciple says, that's right, the disciples of the heavenly demonic sect are not that easy to kill. And Chang's condition has become very bad. Ning Tian has beaten him very badly, and so he is apologizing to all of them, and he is also saying, don't come closer. But Ning Tian does not listen to him. And we see that Ning Tian has killed him, tied a rope around his neck and hung him. Then the first disciple said to Ning Tian, I was feeling a bit down, so I took a casual walk and dealt with this guy along the way. So Ning Tian says, rest assured, the Beast Tamer sect people have been dealt with as well. You wiped out the entire Beast Tamer sect by yourself? And after listening to Ning Tian, the disciple says, Patriarch, did you just go to deal with Yiling? And the other disciple says, and you came back without a scratch. And then Ning Tian gets a notification from the system, and the system says to Ning Tian, you shocked Li Changde and others, rewarded with 5,000 aura cultivation. And we see that Ning Tian's aura starts increasing. Ning Tian is saying this feeling. Am I about to break through? And the system further says, congratulations, the host has broken through to the 4-star Earth King realm. And all the disciples are shocked that Ning Tian's power is increasing so much, and they are saying, ordinary people would be somewhat depleted of their spiritual energy after a fight, but the Patriarch has broken through again. As expected of the Patriarch. Awesome! Then Ning Tian says, now that things are settled here, let's head back. And everyone says yes to Ning Tian. But then an earthquake starts at that place, and Ning Tian is surprised to see this. And he is saying, no, this commotion. It's a beast tide. And on hearing this the disciple says, another beast tide? But wasn't the Beast Tamer sect dealt with by the Patriarch? And Ning Tian is saying, the Heavenly Wind City just regained its peace, if we encounter another beast tide. Heavenly Wind City just regained its peace, if we encounter another beast tide. Changxing, come with me to investigate, the rest of the disciples stay here. And all the disciples agree with him. After this the scene shifts and we see Dark Wind Mountain Range. And Ning Tian and the disciple are moving forward, and the disciple is saying to Ning Tian, Patriarch, I've heard that the demonic beasts of the Dark Wind Mountain Range usually appear at night. It's strange for them to appear now. And as they both move forward, there are many beasts in front of them, seeing whom Ning Tian says that those people are there. And we see that many beasts are moving towards Ning Tian and his disciples. And Ning Tian has taken out his music instrument, and the disciple is saying to Ning Tian, Patriarch, the beast tide is huge. Just the two of us might be overestimating our abilities to kill them all. And as soon as Ning Tian plays the music, the disciple is surprised to hear his voice, and he is thinking, the Beast Tamer sect's beast taming technique? Sword Dao, music Dao, and now the beast taming Dao too? Is the Patriarch really going to master all 3,000 Daos? And we see that due to Ning Tian's music all those beasts start becoming calm, because Ning Tian has taken them under his control. And Ning Tian calls them towards him, and one of those tiger beasts goes to Ning Tian, and seeing this the disciple gets surprised. And he is speaking to Ning Tian, Azure Tiger, rank 2 demonic beast. And Ning Tian says to that tiger, speak, why did you come out of the Dark Wind Mountain Range? And he starts telling the tiger beast, but Ning Tian does not understand anything, and so he uses another power. Then he says to the tiger beast, take me inside the Dark Wind Mountain Range and show me what scared you so much. And Ning Tian takes the tiger under his control. Then the tiger beast brings Ning Tian to a deep ditch, from which a lot of demonic energy is coming out. And seeing this, he knows that there is a coffin in front of it. And then a gate opens. And a lot of energy starts coming out from inside it, and seeing this the disciple is very surprised, and he is saying, when heavenly phenomena occur, there must be great treasures. Then Ning Tian starts running downwards and he is saying, I'll go down and take a look. You wait here. But the disciple says, Patriarch, should we go back and report to the Empress first? But Ning Tian does not listen to him, and he directly jumps into the ditch. And he starts going downwards very fast, and a lot of demonic energy is coming out from inside. Then we see that something is coming towards Ning Tian. And Ning Tian dodges that thing. And we see that a female snake has come to the place, and she is talking to Ning Tian. Haha, I didn't expect the first to come, to be such a handsome little brother. And seeing her, Ning Tian says to the system, do you know what this creature is? So the system tells Ning Tian, based on system detection, this should be a guardian beast of at least rank 7 or higher. And after listening to the system, Ning Tian is thinking about the guardian snake, a guardian beast above the Saint Emperor realm. I wonder if my beast taming music will work on her. No matter, I'll just give it a shot. And Ning Tian attacks her, but the guardian snake stops his attack very easily, and she is telling Ning Tian, making a move right upon meeting. I wasn't ready yet. And after saying this, the guardian snake attacks Ning Tian, and Ning Tian is able to dodge her attack with great difficulty. And when Ning Tian is in the air, he is thinking, I'm no match, I need to make her lower her guard and then find a way to escape. And the guardian snake again attacks Ning Tian, and this time she attacks with her tail and says to Ning Tian, is that so? I've guarded this tomb for 20 years. And the guardian snake's attack hits him, and the guardian snake catches Ning Tian with her tail and tells him, I've been waiting for the tomb to open, and it's too much of a coincidence that you show up right as it does. Little brother, since we're so fated, let me take good care of you. And just as the guardian snake is about to eat Ning Tian, a golden-colored energy is seen shining from the sky. And we see that a huge spiritual sword hits that spot from the sky, due to which Ning Tian is saved from the guardian snake's tail, and Luo Wuqing comes to that place. And on seeing Luo Wuqing, the guardian snake is very surprised that how an immortal emperor has come to this place. And Ning Tian's wife has come here. Then the guardian snake says to Ning Tian, oh little brother, your wife arrived, you should watch closely. And we see that Luo Wuqing gets angry at the guardian snake and she says, a mere rank 7 demonic beast dares to cause trouble. And the guardian snake says to Luo Wuqing, don't worry, this one isn't interested in your husband. But then Luo Wuqing attacks the guardian snake and she thinks, is she that easy to defeat? Then the guardian snake is killed. And Ning Tian comes to Luo Wuqing and says to her, is this a barrier? And they both start going ahead, then there is a palace in front of them, seeing what Ning Tian is saying, for a high-rank guardian demonic beast turning into a barrier automatically. And Luo Wuqing says to Ning Tian, looks like it's a tomb of the level of at least the celestial or immortal emperor. And then some people come to that place, and one of them is saying, Empress is indeed resourceful. Long time no see. And seeing that man, Ning Tian says, what's with that guy again? And Luo Wuqing is saying, although this place belongs to the heavenly demonic sect, it's also in the Dongxing Kingdom's region. It's a phenomenon, so naturally the king would appear. And the king says to Luo Wuqing, Empress, although this celestial tomb is not as good as the great emperors who can shake the whole heavenly spiritual domain, many sects and factions would be coming this way. And Luo Wuqing says to the king, what are you implying, king? So the king says, in 10 days, the barrier will dissipate and the tomb will be opened. I wish to cooperate with the heavenly demonic sect. And on hearing this, both Ning Tian and Luo Wuqing get surprised. Then Luo Wuqing says to the king, what cooperation? So the king says, naturally, we'll help each other. When the time comes, our people will enter the tomb together. The Dongxing Kingdom doesn't desire the treasures in the tomb. We only want the heavenly demonic sect to help us find one thing. And Luo Wuqing is asking the king, what is it? So king shows herb and he says, the pure clear herb. It can help with my son's injuries. This herb only grows in places with the most energy. So it might be in this tomb. And Ning Tian says to the king has so many talented people under him, why would you need the cooperation of our sect? And on hearing this the king becomes happy and he is saying, there's unwritten understanding in the heavenly spiritual domain. For the purpose of balancing the great powers, if not for the great emperor's tomb, someone in the immortal emperor realm cannot get involved. My disciples aren't equipped to fight the disciples of other forces either. And Ning Tian is smiling and thinking, on the day the tomb opens, all major sects will send their people. There's no way fights can be avoided. You're simply trying to use our sect enemy's attention. But then Ning Tian says to the king, King Lin, I cannot help your son. On the day my wife and I got married, there's no courtesy or proper etiquette in sight shown to us. With Taoist heart as weak as tofu, there was no word or skill. I advise you to return and reconsider, King Lin. And on hearing Ning Tian's words, the king probably gets angry. And we see the king's friends, who are thinking, the heavenly demonic sect's patriarch is so bold to scold the king like that. The matter of the holy son of the king is a sore spot for him. And Ning Tian is saying to the king, well, as long as you lose your temper, no way we would cooperate. But the king controls his anger and laughingly tells Ning Tian, is the patriarch worried about the previous incident that damaged the peace between the two parties? It's true that my child was ignorant and offended the empress and patriarch. On behalf of my son, I ask for your forgiveness. And hearing such things from the king, both Ning Tian and Luo Wuqing get shocked. The king's friends are also shocked. But they all together apologize to Ning Tian, and Ning Tian is thinking, he responded so efficiently, you really cannot fight with someone who's smiling at you. In that case, we have to find another way, and Luo Wuqing tells Ning Tian, no need to apologize, king. I'm not interested in this cooperation offer. Then the king shouts and says, what? But I, the king of Dongxing, is being so sincere. And Luo Wuqing says to the king, our heavenly demonic sect is fully capable of handling this on our own, we don't need to cooperate with others. Others would slow us down. And the king starts leaving from this place, but while leaving he says to Luo Wuqing, sure. It looks like your sect is going to be our enemy. Don't regret this later, Luo Wuqing. At the same time the king is thinking, at first, I was a bit hesitant about the cooperation sent by the Righteous Alliance. Now, it looks like we must use their power to teach that arrogant couple a lesson. And the king and his friends leave from this place. And Ning Tian is watching them go, and he is saying, you want to freeload? No way. And then Luo Wuqing says to Ning Tian, actually, you don't want to cooperate with them, right? You just thought it might be hard for me to handle it, and you didn't want us to offend him head on. And Ning Tian says, you see right through me, my wife. And then Luo Wuqing comes close to Ning Tian and says to him, if you want to say no, just say it. No need to beat around the bush. I am supporting you after all. Then Ning Tian lifts Luo Wuqing in his arms and says to her, I'm so touched by your gesture. So as your husband, I will reward you well. And after this the scene shifts, and we see that Ning Tian and Luo Wuqing are sitting at one place. And Luo Wuqing is asking Ning Tian, how did you know there was a hot spring here? So Ning Tian tells, I accidentally saw it when jumping down from the mountain. When I was in the spring before, I thought that I should totally come back with you. Although it's not an immortal spring, it's still a wonderful experience. And Luo Wuqing says to Ning Tian, I asked you to go there to strengthen your physique, not make you think of such things. And saying this she clings to Ning Tian, and Ning Tian says to Luo Wuqing, what? Does my wife think I'm not strong enough now? And Luo Wuqing says to Ning Tian, by the way, stay here for a few days, until the opening of the tomb. I will send the Supreme Elder to assist you. And Ning Tian says, me? Then what about you, wife? Although the king had ill intentions, he's right. And Luo Wuqing says if it's not the great emperor's tomb, it's the rule of the heavenly spiritual domain that immortal emperors cannot get involved, so. And Ning Tian says to Luo Wuqing, I get it, don't worry. I will make sure our sect is the one on the top. And on hearing this Luo Wuqing says thank you to Ning Tian, and Ning Tian says to Luo Wuqing then, my wife needs to show some sincerity, there's still a few days before the tomb opens. And on hearing this Luo Wuqing is a little surprised, and she asks Ning Tian, what do you mean? So Ning Tian makes Luo Wuqing lie down on the ground and says to her, I mean that your husband is a bit ravenous right now, and needs to eat something to have the strength to go exploring. And hearing this Luo Wuqing says to Ning Tian then, let's see. And Ning Tian is also very surprised to hear this, And Luo Wuching further says to Ning Tian, "How hungry are you really?" And after this part ends? And what happened after this, you must know that.